To me, that's the most contemplative, the most introspective, humble indeed. This version of Roman, now that he has put the betrayal, the shield chair behind him, I don't know who can touch him.
I've got to agree with you. Hey, kudos to both superstars. That was a main event any night of the year. What a way to close out SummerSlam. A phenomenal main event matchup on SummerSlam Sunday. But with that said, that had to be one of the most cathartic experiences of Roman Reigns' career. Roman finally answered all of the questions. Roman can finally put the shield behind him for good, once and for all. What's next for Seth Rollins? We'll find out soon enough. There's no need to hang your head in shame. The better man won tonight. That's what this was ultimately all about. Who is the guy?
Yeah, Roman Reigns proved what we know he is. And to me, as a fan of professional wrestling who's loved it our entire lives, this is what you live for. The two best in the world, put him on an absolute, we say this is a true masterpiece. That was art. Hang it in the Louvre. You watch it again tonight and tomorrow. And you guys just hit on it. I've never heard that tone from Roman. It was a new layer to Roman Reigns we've never seen until tonight.
Ahab finally caught the white whale.
That's exactly right.
Hey, I just want to remind everybody we're going to continue on with everything that happened here at SummerSlam night number 2 with the post show, including live guests making their way here to our set on the downtown East Plaza. Kevin Owens will be here live. That's one of the big headlines of the year now. Also, Chelsea Green, the new interim champion, will be here. Danhausen will come and visit us on the set. And you know these fans are going to love this. The new Intercontinental Champion, Minnesota's very own Chad Gable, will be here on the SummerSlam post show. But let's get right to it with our main event.
Yeah. We ain't gonna talk this much this year. Time is money, nigga. We'll talk after taxes. It's a science to our shit, nigga. We love each other, motherfucker. We'll die for each other. Shit is real where I'm from. I'm from a place where they die for $1 bills. Some niggas get rich, most niggas just go to jail. Niggas in the hood, hit the shit and they know it's real. Either get life or some dough for the blow you sell, which make me a hard fella. Paint the Benz the color of Carmelos, sky blue and dark yellow, chillin' in palm metals, trying to get some M's in my hand. Can't see the picture, neither look again to get your camera lens. It's the game. Who the fuck let the amateurs win? I hit the win, time to sin. Pick my man number 10. He said, P, get the GT if you damage the Benz. It ain't the money, it's respect that make me man of the man. He said dollars is important to niggas. I told him holler, let them earn it, we extorting them niggas. Straight bodies, no slipping, no court for them niggas. Suck my dick is the only words I offer them niggas. It's a new day and age. When I die, I throw Poulet in my grave and tell my niggas in the cage I wasn't able to save. Sometimes the streets get the best out of man. They got a cell for you, crackers trying to stretch out the pen. I go to hell for you, see like the eyes on the pyramids. They offer niggas death, cause they see they got fear of it. Shoot niggas in the head, cause it's just an experiment. He said he was a thug, they see his blood, so they smearing it. Whoa. Deep life, nigga.
I'm a Martian with, wouldn't want no parts of it. Don't blame me if I'm a part of it. Whether you love it or not, I'm the heart of it. That's not me saying, just look at the art of it. Discipline with these goals that I'm targeting. My heart I was guarded with, cause niggas found bitches worse. TT leaving was the start of it. Let them call you prodigal, that nigga diabolical. Jealous, all emotion, not even logical. Story story of my life, part of the chronicle. I'm jaded from niggas' ways and how they displayed it. Only human in its truest form. Appreciate the sunshine, cause I've been through the storm. Survived it, true to form. Dope beats I'm chewing on. God bless, I'm at my best when the music on. I'm at my best when the music on. Just seen a nigga I serve acting on Daredevil. Remember they used to treat me away, thought I wasn't on their level. I had a bad day, let me make it sour. I seen friends fall out over a bitch, like the mega powers.
My catalog's filled with exciting action. Beat you into submission. I'm vicious. Fill you with 4 clips, how delicious. You superstitious. The missus whistle past them by some inches, but usually it never misses. Kill your wishes. You don't wanna go tit for tat. My 45 will sit you back. It's the overlord of rap, cold black. I'm a cold cat. Piece you up with combos. Ain't hard to see that I'ma lead with combos. Opposed to make you convulse. When I unload, you can roll. I'm stacking treasure tokens, I was chosen. Golden, the blade was venom coated. Noted, amongst the seas I'm goaded. I never folded. Go ahead and quote it. When I spray, you'll tragically late. Then decay and fade away like MJ. Today's the day. I had to do it my way, that was the only way. They say crime pays, I tell them rhyme pays, rampages, setting ruins to stages for ages. I'll live on forever in the pages of greatness, training like Pycon, the cultural icon. Strike like a python, rhymes like nuclear warheads, pistol to your forehead. After my first kill, I only wanted to see more dead.
You can never ever, never, ever, ever, never, never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never. Fuck with this, nigga. Never. Fuck out of here. Look, hey yo, my name ring cause I clapped the deputy and headshot the sheriff. That's the plot, my mind is locked on a pot of treasure. I need the guap before I ever chase a thought for pleasure. Big knots in my pocket, brolic like Brock Lesnar. You niggas rapping a group cool, you get popped together. Gunpowder on my sweater when I shop Berettas. Drugs under my nails, dirty scale that I use to measure. Materials that melt they mind and they ask for extra. Leave with some coke and a smile and an E for effort. A bundle of joy, yo boy, these the perks of flexing. And finessing like pyramid schemes. Streets real slimy, get left red if you green. Sent to the afterlife at the traffic light. All you heard was the blast and a flash of white when he clapped the pipe. Brain splash all over the dash, fast and that's your life. Fuck all that, y'all still ain't rapping right. Y'all fools know my grooves been smooth like yak with ice. It ain't no rules, they can't find you, they whack your wife. Gambling if that's your vice, bring your gat the dice. Hold with your life. It ain't always lucrative and far-fetched to find out a smart nigga died over stupid shit. Push us off for sport, was taught to respect ruthlessness. Flip a dollar in the way more. New York tutelage, my life like a motion picture minus the movie script. Your bitch quote my scripture and masturbate. I'm too legit. Give a fuck who you is. That nigga's washed. Wrong street. You can never ever, never, ever, ever, never, never, ever.
Microphone check. Midnight menages, barrages of cars with
Microphone check.
my hammer MC. Newports and Pepsis. Louis Lepke died sitting in old Sparky. Proud of this, proud of that. Soulless daps. I
What up, what up, what up?
Shit pushed back the line. I pushed that then. When I was in front of it, I pulled that like a mule in a plow. State greens required when going to chow. I pull up in the town with all the doggy word to froggy. The degree of difficulty I decree. Microphone.
Microphone.
Hey yo. On 183rd and Davidson, I shook the pavement. I told the J's these dimes is like MJ at the Garden, limited engagement. My bags are sealed so neat, it's like they was burnt with a laser.
I need to say these people's names. Tara and Sean, the physical trainers at the Performance Center that helped me get back on my feet. Adam Cantor and his assistant Gina, the surgeon that performed the surgery on me. Without them, I would not be here. I owe them so much. And things were tough, and when things weren't looking great, I would look around me at what could help me get through the tough times. And there's somebody called Tanea Brooks, who's known to wrestling fans as Rebel. She has not wrestled here, but some things are bigger than wrestling. She's currently battling ALS, and the way she's doing it is so incredible. And I looked at her and what she was going through and the way she powered through it, and it was truly inspirational. So I want to thank everyone I just mentioned because everybody helped me so much. Thank you.
Well said.
You already know what the fuck going on, man. It's Locker Room Lead Live, the inaugural Summerslam Night 2, man, post show. Listen, man, I ain't going to get into an instrumental yet, but I just want to thank everybody, man. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us as a squad, BGW and it's Forward Life. You already know what's going on, man. This is the Locker Room Lead Live. Locker Room Lead Live. Finally, right? The SummerSlam Night 2 post show, man. Listen, man, it's only a few things, you know, we really got to look forward to in this world today. You dig what I'm saying? It's only a few things. And for me, one of those things is still pro wrestling. Okay? You can never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never. Fuck with this, nigga. Never. Fuck out of here. Look, hey yo, my name ring cause I clapped the deputy and headshot the sheriff. That's the plot, my mind is locked on a pot of treasure. I need the guap before I ever chase a thought for pleasure. Big knots in my pocket, brolic like Brock Lesnar. You niggas rapping a group cool, you get popped together. Gunpowder on my sweater when I shop Berettas. Drugs under my nails, dirty scale that I use to measure. Materials that melt they mind and they ask for extra. Leave with some coke and a smile and an E for effort. A bundle of joy, yo boy, these the perks of flexing. And finessing like pyramid schemes. Streets real slimy, get left red if you green. Sent to the afterlife at the traffic light. All you heard was the blast and a flash of white. When he clapped the pipe, brain splash all over the dash. Fast and that's your life. Fuck all that, y'all still ain't rapping right. Y'all fools know my grooves been smooth like yak with ice. It ain't no rules, they can't find you, they whack your wife. Gambling if that's your vice, bring your gat the dice. Hold with your life. It ain't always lucrative and far-fetched to find out a smart nigga died over stupid shit. Push us off for sport, was taught to respect ruthlessness. Flip a dollar in the way more. New York tutelage, my life like a motion picture minus the movie script. Your bitch quote my scripture and masturbate. I'm too legit. Give a fuck who you is. That nigga's washed. Wrong street. You can never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, never. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, man. Listen, man, I just wanted to run that back real quick. Again, I hope everybody is well. You know what I mean? Let's have a bit of fun tonight. Shout out to my boy Wolverine on the beat.
game, baby. Let's get in the game. So real quick, y'all, where do we begin? You know what I mean? Y'all talk to me. Where do we begin? You dig what I'm saying? J-Rob, my brother, what's going on? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. My brother Bobby Eaton, you know what I mean? The motherfucking pulse of this shit, CM Unk. You dig what I'm saying? Clarence Mason the fourth. What the fuck going on, man? You know what I mean? AT, Hall of Famer, what's up, baby? Everybody, thank y'all so much, man. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Let's handle a few things. Let's handle a few things, man. Everybody get y'all ass in here. What's good? All right. I mean, so where we at with it, y'all? As the wise man Bodie James once said, where we at with it? You know what I mean? Right now, we are covering on the main post show how Danhausen defeated Dominic Mysterio tonight and the Human Money's on a pole match. You dig what I'm saying? That's what they're getting into right now. Listen, we're gonna talk some night one stuff real quick, if I may. You know, I like to kind of go off of the buzz of the community. You dig what I'm saying? I like seeing what the consensus is for certain things, and if that matches up with the consensus of like folks I'm talking to. You dig what I'm saying? When it comes to casual fans, when it comes to sickos, you dig what I'm saying? And we're going to touch on a few things tonight as far as where pro wrestling is, where sports entertainment is. You dig what I'm saying? Fire. You know what I mean? Shout out to Nick, man, kind of doing his thing. My guy, my motherfucking guy, man. And we're going to be with y'all this Tuesday for some Ladies Hoops Collective talk. You dig what I'm saying? So please stay tuned for that. You dig what I'm saying? But appreciate all my brothers, man. Like I said, it's BGW for life. I really appreciate everything they had to say to me today. And, you know, we're going to do this labor of love. We're going to carry on. Shout out to Labor of Love, too. West Philadelphia promotion. You dig what I'm saying? But let's talk a little bit about night one, right? Night one, the excitement for me is there before the event starts, right? Pre-show is on ESPN. We know that the first hour is not going to be shown on ESPN as it pertains to WrestleMania. But, you know, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, we always get these feelings. We always get these butterflies, this excitement, this vibe. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of times we're thinking about the nostalgia of past SummerSlams. And when we think about how certain SummerSlams get built, the build of a SummerSlam. I was thinking of a particular analogy. Y'all know how back in the day, the build to these main four pay-per-views, right? Especially when we come around to March post-Mania, you dig what I'm saying? The building felt like, or the process of the build felt like they was building like a fucking, think of the tallest skyscraper in the world, right? Tallest skyscraper in the world. Think about the work that takes, the toil, where the construction has to be, where the team has to be. That's where it seems like they were building, especially thinking about that analogy when it comes to SummerSlam 98, Madison Square Garden. You dig what I'm saying? We got the Empire State Building down the street, right? Now, when we look at the current builds to particular, I thought that last year's SummerSlam was pretty good. I thought that it delivered. Seeing these two nights, I think that we are taking less risks, and that's okay for a particular point in time where certain folks are injured. We're not seeing certain folks. Certain folks aren't being featured, right? There was different names brought up this weekend. Carmelo Hayes, Julia, for different reasons. And, you know, we see Carmelo Hayes is doing Fanatics Fest, right? He's doing a walkthrough. He's doing an appearance. He's signing autographs at Fanatics Fest. And he doesn't necessarily have a spot on a 2-day card, right? But we see the way these cards are done over the course of the 2 days, right? We see that it's condensed wrestling. It's condensed sports entertainment, right? We've had these conversations, especially when TKO is coming to play around. How long are we watching advertisement screens? How long are we watching commercials versus how long are we watching actual in-ring action? Not even counting entrances and not counting post-match fallouts, shenanigans, what have you, as we saw with Danhausen and Dom, right? These builds feel like they're just putting up you know, a block of row homes, if you may. You know what I mean? I don't mean for this to also come into contact or to make a reference to the fact that we are having Royal Rumbles in a country where we never had Royal Rumbles before, and y'all have to build a stadium that would accommodate a particular crowd that you would want for that match or for that program, for that PLE. Now we see that, you know, Riyadh has a stadium, they have a sports arena, there's different arenas around the country, but they wanted to build a stadium that could, you know, essentially visually match and energetically match the feeling of what a Royal Rumble is supposed to be, with a certain amount of people in the building, you know, going past a certain year. So for me, night one wasn't mind-blowing. I don't want to say it under-delivered, but it wasn't anything special. And I was making a point earlier to my brothers and to some of you all that when your champion, as we saw tonight, as opposed to night one, when your champion doesn't end the night, when we don't see the trademark watermark right below the screen, when we don't see your champion on the end of a PLE, it's indicative of something. So CM Punk not being on the last shot of his night one headlining pay-per-view main event match, PLE main event match, and it's not him, it's someone else, it's Obafemi, right? Probably the fastest rising star in WWE right now. I think that at this point, with the Brock put over and everything, he is going to be the main attraction pretty much right now in the WWE. And things aren't equivalent. Like Oba isn't Brock, Brock isn't Oba. And I want to kind of fixate on something a little bit before I step into night two. SummerSlam used to be one night. And we think about the value of a one night pay-per-view and what that used to feel like and what that used to be. The anticipation for this one night, right? And then we come back on a Monday to do Raw or whatever the case is, you know, and we would see the fallout from the pay-per-view. What audiences we were serving, who was paying attention at that point in time, their age, this and that to the third. The WWE right now is under a lot of scrutiny because of their relationship with consumerism, with products, with other things that really aren't pertaining to pro wrestling. They are really in the business of making new consumers every time they put something on a screen. And a screen meaning your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, or your television, the big five, right? They want to make sure they make a new fan every time WWE content appears on the screen. If it's their YouTube channel, if it's someone within the WWE posting on their own, all of those things, you know what I mean? They're definitely showing us that this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're out to do. And the reason why I bring up newer fans is because people have families now. And so when we see a lot on the screens that might be a bit cheesy or that might be a bit that might under-deliver to our expectations as fans, as marks, as sickos, it's a very different day, y'all, than 1998, 1999. And I bring those years back up because I just referenced that the year in which a SummerSlam happened in 1998. You know, that was a particular point in time. And I'm gonna get to 2000, 2001, 2002 when someone like Brock Lesnar entered into the fray. Culture in the United States in the late 90s was very, how can I say this? Everybody were doing essentially what they were supposed to do. And essentially what I mean by that is, you know, you know, the societal norms, right, of the different things that, you know, we ended up having conversations about politically later on, such as like certain people being able to get married and, you know what I mean? But what I'm trying to refer to here about the late 90s, that it was a particular time in which a certain level of, how can I put this? Masculine interest, the way in which you attract masculine people or teenagers or young boys to particular products to be able to make money off of that audience was just a little different. And here's where I am with that. Pro wrestling was a niche thing in the 90s that had a mainstream impact. And what I mean by that is It was something that a certain specific demographic was going to be interested in, but the number of households that pretty much had someone in it residing in it that was of that demographic was probably watching pro wrestling. So where I am with that is, if you were watching pro wrestling in the 90s, there's a chance that you were definitely a male. You definitely were probably white. And if you weren't those two things, then your fandom within wrestling was very unique. And what I'm also trying to get around to here is, certain households has that son, that middle son, that younger son, right? And in the 90s, depending on where you fell on the age totem pole, you might have been interested in pro wrestling, which then made your parents, if not interested in pro wrestling, then at least knowledgeable about it, knowing that it exists, knowing how to identify certain wrestlers and things like that. So the visibility of pro wrestling was very high. It was a niche thing, but it had a mainstream impact to where if you weren't watching it, you knew about it. And it was probably being played on the television in your home if you were a parent or a guardian, right? We fast forward years later to where some of these guys that were watching pro wrestling from these households now probably have families, right? They definitely are engaged in the lore and in the nostalgia of what it was like to be a fan of of the World Wrestling Federation in the 90s, or at least World Championship Wrestling around that time as well. You dig what I'm saying? And World Championship Wrestling has a huge foot in this based on what their demographic was. Very similar to that of what the Attitude Era, who they ended up reaching out to. But WCW had them very early in the wars, as y'all all know. And so I think something that's taking place right now, like we at these WWE shows, we see certain guys cosplaying still as Macho Man Randy Savage, as some Hulk Hogan. You dig what I'm saying? We're seeing a lot of 80s nostalgia, like I was saying earlier, WWE the gold WWE logo, the prism. You dig what I'm saying? And so now a lot of these guys have families, they have kids. They're still trying to keep up with that person who they were making money off of in the late 90s, but now they can make more money off of them because now they're the parent. You dig what I'm saying? And now they kind of have people interested in their household in wrestling. So now they could take their kids to wrestling if they weren't necessarily consuming wrestling with their families and things of that nature, right? And so where I am in all of this is that we can critique the WWE a lot for their creative, and we should. But I think we should also have that conversation as well. I think TKO is a big part of this, being that certain decisions are coming from TKO that a lot of wrestling fans are not jiving with, especially when we thought about some of the WrestleMania stuff, TKO having a foot in some of the booking and things like that. And I do think it's a bit problematic when you have non-wrestling people making wrestling decisions. And I think that was part and why, which we all know, WCW went where it went, right? A lot of Turner folks with opinions and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So right now, sports entertainment, as it were, is in this place now where it's like, it's very consumery. For me, I'm gonna call it the Disneyfication of the WWE, if I can. And I hope that's some fire, because to me, that's what it's the Disneyfication of the company, right? We have all of this lore, we got this history. Now, Disney is about 100 and something years old. The WWE, I guess, about 60 years old, if you want to count all eras. But we are in a time in which the American dollar, right, human monies is at a certain value in which it's never been, right? The WWE is now a publicly traded company that has been for the last 20 some odd years. Now it's owned by a Wall Street proprietor and TKO, which owns multiple companies. And so it's just like now, the way that we do business and the way that we attract people to invest into us is going to change. And so I hear a lot of complaining about a lot of what the WWE does. And I agree with a lot of those things. I definitely do. But at the same time, I understand why business is going how it's going. I understand why certain fans have their gripes, right? And why certain fans have their critiques. You dig what I'm saying? But for me, it's almost like using my lifespan to like learn about this business. I'm just kind of seeing what's going on, and it's fine. Like I think that certain fans and certain marks, to be honest with you, are just in a certain mindset about what needs to be put out, and it's juxtaposed to what used to happen in this company 20 years ago, and it's also being juxtaposed to what's happening in AEW, right? It's being juxtaposed to what's happening on some of the bigger indies that we know about. So for me, it's that I can only get but so frustrated, because at the end of the day, when I'm sitting back watching a wrestling show, watching a wrestling match, I'm just pretty much feeding the kid that started watching the shit in 96. I kind of returned a little bit back to who he is. Like even being at TNA this weekend, like kind of not getting into it, but kind of, you know, being a fan and like interacting with Hills and shit like that is like, that's fun. Not for nothing, to be honest with y'all, like I fucks with John Skyler a lot. And some of y'all know who John Skyler is, TNA, Order 4, you know, Jason Hotch was his man and all of that. And I shouted some things at John this past weekend, right? But I had fun. And I think that John was even asking for it by the work that he was doing, the work that he was doing with Rich Swann and telling him certain things about the Philadelphia crowd. You know what I mean? So I had to get into it a little bit. And others did too. So, but that's fun. That's a part of the show. Now, sitting back and critiquing a company and things like that, that's more of like what your expertise might be based off of your years of watching pro wrestling. And I respect that. And for me, I get very sports entertained off of things that are still happening in this company. I necessarily can't watch Raw and SmackDown the way that I want. But if I had the time live, I would watch it live. You dig what I'm saying? So I just think that we should start thinking about those things a little bit more, just in order to make sense of the shit. Because I hear a lot about how the WWE is probably dead and it's probably not going to be a company in 10 years. So like I'm about to finish a statement I was going to make. I hear a lot of complaining about what this company is doing, but when I turn on the pay-per-view and when I'm seeing the pre and post show and I'm seeing people's enthusiasm, it's like seeing that footage at Disney World when they do a parade or some shit. The people just keep showing the fuck up. And so I don't think that makes them in the red. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I think this company is doing very good financially, even though they're telling folks to take pay cuts, but that benefits the company. We want our performers to be paid as much as possible. But at the end of the day, it's like, do we still want a company to exist that we refer to sometimes as the major leagues or as this or as that because it's been around for so long and you can expect a certain paycheck in that company? And we want to see our performers get the human monies that they are due. You know what I mean? So y'all tell me, man, but appreciate you, AT, man. I'm just trying to think about all the things, try to think through all of the things on why entertainment is the way it is, right? Not for nothing, guys. I'm doing a whole new deep dive on The Sopranos. Y'all know, some of y'all know it's one of my most favorite shows of all time. It's a lot of people's. I'm definitely not alone in that, right? The Sopranos is definitely a niche subject that had that mainstream impact also. And that was the late 90s as well. You dig what I'm saying? Appreciate you, Jay. Right? Yeah, definitely the E part all day long. Listen, man, I was at TNA this past weekend, and I'm on the floor and I'm looking at a very intent Carlos Silva watching these matches. When he's on the floor, I mean, with that hat on and all of that, like it's a bit earnest, you know what I mean? But I see what a businessman is attempting to do. No, Carlos Silva is not a wrestling guy. He's not a wrestling lifer. He wasn't born into this thing. He wasn't, right? But I think he knows a little bit about getting folks into a building for events, things like that. And I think he's just riding he's just riding the current right now. He just, and I think that with most big business owners, you think about like the Sixers owner, right? I mean, the Sixers just kind of had a change in, I'm not about to get into that. Sixers just kind of had a change. It has something to do with it though. Sixers just had a change in front office staff in the way that the front office is structured, which kind of that deal had something to do with, right? Or at least that was instrumental in the deal getting done, right? But this isn't a basketball show tonight, y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, my brother. Jamar, what's good, man? So to get into a little bit more, y'all, like I said, night one wasn't that spectacular, right? We now have Obafemi as the biggest star in the company, or at least the fastest rising star in the company. For me, tonight's women's match, the result for me was very exciting, more exciting than the result from last night. But last night's women's title match, I thought was amazing. I think Liv and Io do amazing work together. I don't think a lot of people trust Io as a champion right now. We've seen it, and I think that was a very earnest thing, right? Like, you know, Io comes into the ring, she cuts her promo about being champion and being happy and things like that. But I just don't think it works for a lot of shareholders. I don't think it works for a lot of audience members. But Io Sky is one of my favorites, you know what I mean, from over the Rising Sun, you know what I mean? And a lot of the work that she has put out in the past differs from what we're seeing from her now. I mean, even some of the early Io stuff in this company, we saw some of the moodiness and things like that. But I don't think a lot of people really trust Io as the champion. I don't think the board does. I don't think that, you know, nobody behind Gorilla really trusts Io right now as champion. So Liv for them is the answer. And I think that Liv over time, and you know, we hear the things, right? The all-time this, all-time that. And she makes a good case. But I don't think Liv, I don't, let me ask y'all a question. Y'all tell me what y'all think for those that's in the chat. Is Liv more popular than Lita was? Is Liv Morgan right now more popular? You know what I mean? Judgment Day stuff, think about the last 4 years. Has Liv been more over than someone like Lita? You know what I mean? If some of y'all can answer that for me, you dig what I'm saying? But Jamar, I definitely agree. Remember, this is an interim title, right? And I think that Chelsea can be is you know, we know Chelsea as being, you know, the United States champion and the vibe she had and everything like that. But this is definitely, it's still the title essentially. But I think that the WWE doing interim business, I don't know what that does for sports entertainment. Like I was saying earlier, so when Tony did it, it made sense, right? But for where AEW was at that time and the power rankings and all of those things. But they're trying to remind us of something, right? And I think that with, you know, the program being on ESPN and, you know, with the deal and the app now, certain languages being used so certain casual supporters, casual fans can kind of follow what's going on. So when they're with their loved ones that are more seasoned in wrestling and watching wrestling, they say, hey, why are they having a match for interim champion? They can begin to explain why this interim thing exists to begin with. They're going to bring up a name, right? They're going to ask, well, who's that person? And then from there, conversations ensue, and you're going to get new fans when your content is on the screen. So I think these are all due in part to what WWE is trying to do. No, they're not going to impress the most seasoned WWE watcher, right? They're not going to impress them that much. And I think that that's fine, right? And when we think about a lot of the seasoned people, you know, who may or may not have those families to put on, I don't know, their relationship with it becomes a bit, you know, polarizing. You know, I think that in this activity of content creation, and a lot of people have gotten huge numbers off of it, right? I think that a lot of it is working. I think that us as wrestling content creators, we kind of get into the art of performance and the art of selling and the art of a promo because we are talking and, you know, we do what we can in order to pop the rating. And I think when we think about people like JD from New York, other people as well who I don't think have been as antagonistic to the company, but very critical, like Solid Monster, those guys are like, you know, your Meltzers and your Alvarez's, like, you know, guys of that nature, kind of doing it from this, you know, this analytic perspective, right? But what I'm getting at here is, yeah, this company is just in a certain time. And it may not impress you as the most seasoned WWE watcher, but like somebody's daughter is going to get put on, right? And might be interested in someone like a Jade Cargill or like a Liv Morgan, right? So to kind of get into the question I just asked, J-Rod said, I don't know about more popular, but if she was booked more, had a more creative, great stuff, then yeah, okay. Saying Liv might be. My brother Chad says, I think I think she's been more invested into than Lita, but Lita still had more juice and it was natural. You dig what I'm saying? This definitely might be a transitional situation for Chelsea. I mean, you know what I mean? For whatever's taking place in this division. Jamar also says, I think Liv's more popular due to the era she's in with social media being it is what it is. And so that's what I'm saying also, y'all, going back to those 5 screens, right? My brother says Lita was a different level, but respectfully to Liv. And here's where I am with the Lita stuff. We kind of get some Team Extreme rub here. You dig what I'm saying? We all know what happened with Matt and them and all of that. We ain't gotta get into that. You dig what I'm saying? Absolutely. But where I am with this is, again, man, kind of going back to the weekend. Saw one of my goats, Jeff Hardy, right? Having a certain synergy and having a certain thing with Jeff Hardy, I think does a lot for you as well. And here's why I am with that. Lita was fire on her own. You dig what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of for some of the women, I think the popularity is kind of hard to read into sometimes. If you're not seeing certain like all out supporters of certain people. Like I point to Rhea Ripley as probably one of the biggest women's stars. I personally still think Rhea Ripley is bigger than Liv Morgan. Still, like right now, like still. I still believe that. I necessarily didn't see anybody cosplaying as Liv Morgan. I'm not saying it's not happening, but Rhea's thing, I think, has always been more over than Liv's thing. Right? I can go back some years ago and I can point to a certain performer, Carmella, who to me had pretty much had Liv's job for a while. If you ask me, I think she had Liv's gig, if that makes sense. Right? We had Jordans on. We, you know, did the gear. I think that Carmella entered into another space creatively and visually when the mask went on, right? But I think for a while, you know, the backwards hat, I think for a while there, Carmella kind of like took a little bit of Liv flow, a little bit bar for bar. You know what I mean? Not necessarily word for word. You know what I mean? But, you know, the way the bars sound, you know what I mean? The flow. I think she jacked my sis a little bit. So I think that somebody like Rhea Ripley is like the most insane star I think I've seen in a while, right? Got an Australian home game, right? Being from another continent, right? We think about the NBA, like who are the most popular players these days. Like we used to say the Bryants and the McGrady's and this, but now we're saying the Doncic and the Jokic and the Gilgeous Alexander. Like these are names, these are European names, even though Shai is Canadian, right? But the star making qualities, the star making abilities, I think gets lost a little bit around some of our American performers. Now, Liv does her job. For me, right, and this is just a little bit, you know, like I said, we all got our little critiques. I just don't think there is anything really exciting going on in the division right now. And I thought that maybe I don't know, you don't necessarily got to take the biggest risk with the EO, but I don't even think this really should have been the match. Would I be wrong in saying I don't think this should have been a match for SummerSlam? Because we've seen it. We could have ran this. We could have ran this on Monday. We could have ran this tomorrow after Liv defeats. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Because again, like the division right now has a huge lack of excitement. Gerard says 21-22 was the most exciting Liv for me, and I love Liv. Yeah, I think so too. That's when the hunger was really there, right? And you think about certain people online, like Taryn, Skinny Mysterio, who was like the biggest, you know what I mean? And shout out to Taryn, who's like the biggest Liv fan online, at least who I see. You know what I mean? And for me, that's my beacon for like the Liv fandom is like a user like Taryn. You know what I mean? Shout out to Skinny Mysterio. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Night 2. Dorado says we got to see Liv improve every week. Like legit, she was getting really good. Yes, Liv is the shit. Like Liv is amazing in the ring. You do understand? I think she's like, I don't want to do that. Like who she, you know what I mean, who she lapping and all of that. But Liv can move, man. Liv can really move. So I just think it's the Judgment Day stuff. You know, it's just the Judgment Day shit. You know what I mean? But let's listen to Chad Gable and them celebrate. They're doing the skull celebration. You know what I mean? Shout out to them Vikings. They disrespected my crib, and we ended up winning the Super Bowl in their crib afterwards. It's cool. All's fair in love and war. But shout out to Chad, man, on his victory tonight, bro. This definitely was well-deserved after the El Grande match. And shout out to the boy, man, having a home game tonight. Let's listen in.
What a show from Minnesota. Congratulations. We'll see you down the road. Thank you.
Shout out Crush. I like night 2 better than night, Kyle. You dig what I'm saying? Night 2 was much better for me. And I got to see it at home. So that's always a plus. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Yeah, Judgment Day is waning, J-Rod. It's waning a lot. A whole lot, man. A whole lot. But let's listen to the hometown boy, man. Get his stuff off with E. Rosenberg. You know what I mean? Joe Tessitore and Corey Graves.
The year over this year. Now you have one of the moments of the year. Let's go back and look at the match itself, because with all the storyline and celebrating at home, man, this was a hell of a match. Like, it was a great wrestling match. Yeah. To talk to me about what Penta brought tonight. Obviously, you were prepared, but talk about Penta and how proudly he held that goal.
One of my absolute favorite people in WWE is Penta. Massive respect for him, not only as a performer, but human being. I'd be remiss to say if he wasn't one of the toughest challenges I've. I mean, he brings in intensity, and not only that, but it's really hard to feel cool in there against a guy like Penta. He's about the coolest guy I've ever met.
This moment right here.
Yes. Yeah.
The Mexican destroyer onto the apron.
Penta is innovative in every way.
Also
he had counters for my counters. I think I brought the same to him. My time in Mexico helped with that. And man, what an absolute legend. And humble enough to give me my moment. And what a man.
Before we say goodbye, one final chance to talk to your hometown crowd. Go ahead, turn around. They're all yours.
Minnesota, we did it, baby! I'm proud of you. Thank you.
He is the new Intercontinental Champion, and that does it for 2 spectacular nights of SummerSlam. What a show!
So let's not waste any more time, y'all. When I saw Kevin Owens, when we heard the music, right, I think that we can say at this point in time, and we can even go back, right? Kevin Owens is Stone Cold Steve Austin's baby boy. That's his son. Like in real wrestling life. I believe Stone Cold Steve Austin is the father of Kevin Owens. I know that the shirt against Cody said son of a home securities technician. A call back to Dusty's shirt, the son of a plumber, you know what I mean? Son of a Kevin Owens is a cold fucking Canadian motherfucking performing ass wrestler, bro. He's so cold. And even saying that again, bro, he's Stone Cold's son. The story of how Kevin Owens kind of becomes Kevin Owens, Stone Cold has somewhat a lot to do with. You know what I mean? If y'all didn't follow that story, which is why the match at Mania was so important. And to get right now on record the last Stone Cold match, right? We talk a lot of shit. We've been talking a lot of shit past couple of years. The last Cena match, last Sting match, Jeff Jarrett, Ric Flair. Like, we've been talking a lot of shit, right? But this match, this episode that took place at Mania, legendary. Like, we only seen it on Raw, right? Happens at Mania. You dig what I'm saying? So, but to not even really get into all of that, where I am with this is, you know, iconic intros to theme music. And y'all know where I'm at with this shit. It's no wrestling doesn't exist without music, bro. It just don't. That's why I gotta play it on here. I can't come on here and be silent Bob. Yeah, I mean, I gotta get jiggy. You dig what I'm saying? I can't I just can't. Music and pro wrestling does it for me,
maybe
bro.
me and you and Luna can go say hi to Grandma and then I can come back. Anyway, call me. I love you, son. Bye-bye.
I don't want nothing to hear about Dominican niggas ain't black niggas, man. It is shit. Man, listen. Hey, yo, menace to society. Can't get caught slipping. Like Kane, I ain't going out quietly. Money got me looking handsome. Now they want to get handsy. Bougie, like they wasn't on that block drinking 40s. Now they fancy. Say
Shout out my brother Heartbreak Julio, man. I just had to play a little bit of him. Shout out to Dominican Kev too. Killed the whole tape. Should have been a motherfucking Horseman, man. You dig what I'm saying? But where I am with this is that somebody like Julio will understand that there's no pro wrestling without music. That's why you have Vince McMahon, dumbass, rocking wrestling up there, dancing and shit. Yeah, you know I mean, with the John Travolta suit on stage. Like, that's why you have that. It just doesn't exist. It just doesn't. You dig what I'm saying? So absolutely, my brother. So I wasted about like 5 more minutes just now. But where I am with it's 10:08, my bad. But the intro, Bret Hart gets on that guitar, then the bass come in, dun 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 dun. That shit, right? The broken glass, the gong, the bell, right? Like just iconic shit, not for nothing, just hearing it and just the nostalgia of that era of WWE. Elias, his acoustic guitar, Elijah right now. Who want to walk with Elijah? Who want to walk with Elijah? Like, those things are amazing. Amazing. And so when we hear the Kevin Owens guitars tonight, yeah, it's like being at church. Yeah, we back. Certain moments just makes the show for certain people, and I might be one of those fans. So based on the reaction that Kev got, I'm like, he winning this match. I made this match a fatal 4-way. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's no way in the world he comes out to this reaction and loses. He's definitely winning this match. Sammy right there. We ain't see Kevin in a minute. They hug each other, and then they just start mixing. You know what I mean? But we knew where this was going, right? Welcome back, Kevin Owens, man. I think that we're going to get into some shit for SummerSlam. I like the fact that certain people are back despite certain criticisms of last night. Randy coming back is great. Like, WWE and Randy Orton is like, you know, not for nothing to kind of stay on the theme of sports if I can. WWE and Randy Orton for me, and I know he's not, you know, is kind of like the first guy that comes to my mind, like a Drew Brees. You dig what I'm saying? Or like, think about that veteran could be the locker room leader in any locker room in the league, like that player. You dig what I'm saying? Like, think about Kevin Garnett. You know what I mean? So Kevin Owens first Randy Orton returning. That's not lost on me. Yeah, give me that. You dig what I'm saying? I need that. I think people might be a bit, I don't know, again, more polarizing on how he's going to get booked now. I think that when we look at what happened last night, people think that, like, all right, this is just like a rerun of WrestleMania. We're just getting these run-ins. You dig what I'm saying? But let's see, man. Let's keep watching. These are our stories. Just like how our folks used to watch Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives. These are days of our fucking lives. These Saturdays and Sundays, right? So let's just keep watching, man. Let's just keep watching. My boy Kyle Crush said, you think Brock will be retired or he coming back? We were talking about a little bit earlier. I think Brock got it. Brock, because but it's like, what do we do? Right? That's where I'm at. What do we do? I'm hearing certain names coming back to, but I don't know if we want to do anything with that. And I don't want to point anybody out directly unless we see them in this company at this point, based on how certain conversations go. But he might have, well, what do we think? The SummerSlam? We did the Survivor Series? Like, I highly doubt if he's on a Survivor Series team or War Games team or anything like that. So it's like, if he does have one more, where does it take place? Again, like seeing guys take off their boots and put it in the ring is a lasting impression. You know what I mean? We just saw Lionel Messi do that after that horrible final for those of us that get into association football. But it's a lasting image. And I think when that happened at Mania, I didn't get over it. I'm still not over it because of what that symbolizes. I'm going back to another point I was trying to make earlier about the 2000s and where certain types of attractions, the way they had to look, the way it was. When Brock Lesnar first came out, he had everybody. Yeah, we saw enough from the jump. We saw enough on the debut. You dig what I'm saying? Seeing Spike Dudley and them get their ass kicked and Paul Heyman right there. Talking shit. So, again, the type of music, Brock had the same music for the last 20 years. But I can remember a WrestleMania that Brock Lesnar performed at that had a Limp Bizkit performance where Brock won the WWE title. So, and what Limp Bizkit symbolized at that time, going back, not necessarily around WrestleMania 19 time, but going back around 98, 99, Woodstock 99, just that connotation of that like angsty male aggression, right? Like the, you know what I mean? Like the 9-inch nails and not for Rage Against the Machine and the way that WWE music sounded, like not for nothing, like Jim Johnson and them, like a lot of the shit they was cooking up. Like I thought DX music was sung by Zach De La Rocha. Like I thought when I heard DX that was the bull from Rage Against the Machine. You dig what I'm saying? And not for nothing, when Triple H had his first game entrance, you know what I mean, before Lemmy and Motorhead. So these things, man, like it's, I don't know, I just love this shit, man. But the aggression was in the music, it was in the presentation of the performers, and Brock Lesnar embodied that, embodied it. And not for nothing, you had a lot of crazy shit being seen on television, the Zach Gowen shit, and the things that people would say about that today, and what it means to be a full-body person as opposed to a. But now we're in a day and time in which, like, a lot of indie wrestling companies, some of the values we see exposed in AEW, right? Like Kenny Omega for trans rights and all of these different things, right? Like the pushing of Nyla Rose, all of this shit, Ant Bowens, all my folks. You know what I mean? Shout out my guy, Billy Dixon. You know what I mean? Shout out Dark Sheik. Shout out everybody. Ashton. Shout out everybody. You dig what I'm saying? Ali. But it's just like those things weren't really that pressing in wrestling. It was all about trying to appease the male white. That's why we had the bra and panties matches. I mean, not for nothing, matches we kind of getting now today based on how gear looks. I don't know. Y'all tell me it's not a bra and panties per se, but the women they shooting, they wrestling. You dig what I'm saying? You got JR on commentary talking about puppies and all of that. And we know what JR done been through and what other people that was around him had been through at certain point in times. Like these things, they shouldn't be lost upon us. So that's why the tide is kind of changing a bit. And you was competing with a world championship wrestling at their fucking peak. At their fucking peak. You dig what I'm saying? So, see what the chat talking about for a little bit though. J-Rod says, finding out Stone Cold wanted his theme to be the same of Bulls on Parade from Rage Against the Machine. Yes, man. That was that feeling. Bro, Sting, the Crow Sting. That doesn't come from nothing. That comes from a film about a certain person in our society going through a certain thing. And Sting connected with that. Even Stone Cold with the bull who he was looking at, the Iceman, whatever his name was, the Stone Cold bull, the shit that was on HBO. I gotta look it up a bit more. It's a bit before my time. I ain't really researched it like that. But the Iceman trial and all that shit, like that's Stone Cold. That was who Stone Cold Steve Austin was trying to emulate. And so these are the things that was getting you over. We fast forward to today. We didn't have a Black Panther movie. These things enter the lexicon of our greater society and our entertainment lexicon and zeitgeist. And then then people in pro wrestling, you dig what I'm saying? They didn't kind of extract that into their thing. Right. And I like what Dolph Ziggler is doing a little bit with this wanted man stuff. It got a double entendre to it. Wanted man, right? You see the t-shirt with the target around, said Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth. I'm from a certain time. Nick Nemeth, the wanted man. But you see certain women at the shows for Nick. Right. But then you also know that Nick is current champion. You know what company he used to be at. We seeing certain names pop up in the company again. Right. He is on Busted Open Radio. We know what relationship they got right now. So, yeah, I kind of like where that's going. You know what I mean? But a lot of that is it's very HBK. He's always been that. But I think even more so now he's so HBK'd out, bro, with the straight ass hair coming out with the hopping on one foot and then the turnaround, the thing he usually do. It's all from a certain day, and we all extract from something, if that's pro wrestling or from something in the greater entertainment zeitgeist. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's actually fire. I went to Catholic school, so I didn't have an opportunity to do that, AT. So that's fucking fire. J-Rod says, love this convo for real, because wrestling and music have went hand in hand for so long, and wrestling has always been behind. That's why you got so many wrestlers that rap. You dig what I'm saying? Absolutely. Shout out Channel 6, man. Big shout out to Big Channel 6. The Heart on the Trunks. Big HBK. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy Julio, man. Anniversary just passed on that wonderful piece of art right above my head. You dig what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Wolverine. Life-changing piece of art for me, man. So I just want to thank my brothers, and because we brought up the guy, I just wanted to, make that connection. I mean, shout out to my boy, man. One of my favorite fucking rappers in the world. One of my favorite people in these United States, in the city of New York, and in the world over as well. You dig what I'm saying? Chelsea, baby. See what Chelsea talking about. Let's listen in, y'all.
To a North American takeover, and now we've entered the era of world domination.
Shout out to Trini guy. I see the Trini flag in the back of the post-show crowd.
Celebrate that right there. Give her a big hand. The interim WWE Women's Championship ladder match winner. Gold is on her shoulder. Her first
World domination. Chelsea says she's coming for it. Real quick, man, while I just brought up my boy, man, the Almanac Show, episode 202. You dig what I'm saying? The first visual, the first stream is now up. Go tap it with my boys. The Almanac Show on YouTube. The Almanac Show on Twitch. You know what I mean? We on Twitch right now as well. You dig what I'm saying? So I wanted to match my boys on that. But an excellent first visual to my boys, man. My most favorite pop wrestling podcast on planet Earth, the Almanac Show. You dig what I'm saying? Starring none other than the Almanac. The fucking post of this shit. The actual post. Heartbreak Julio. You dig what I'm saying? And my brother from another, Michael Dre Fox. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, as I refer to him. As he saved in my phone. You dig what I'm saying? Real quick, I think Joe got something to say about the main event.
Get this deep into their career. They go out and put on career-defining performances tonight. Both Roman Reigns and Seth freaking Rollins. Here's what it's all about. In the end, the moment of respect. Wrestling soulmates, brothers, whatever you want to call it. This was greatness.
Roman Reigns, you said that you needed this win over Seth Rollins. You got it. What did this match, this moment against this guy, what does it represent for you? What did this match, this moment against this guy?
Full circle. This is where we close the loop. What happened here in Minnesota. This is where my football career ended, and to be able to have this moment here, I've been saying it all day. God is a way better storyteller than all of us. This is a special moment for me.
He played high school football, you know? Yo, that was why? Why? That boy Roman, bro. That boy Roman, man. That boy Roman, he's something else, man. I ain't got the adjective right now. He just something else. That's all I got right now, man. Behind, y'all saw it. Behind commentary, you had some in Minnesota, I think offensive line, and he was talking that shit. This was a very interesting match, man. I love this main event between these two gentlemen. You dig what I'm saying? These two brothers that's been going at it for fucking 15 years. Going at it with others. You dig what I'm saying? Don't pause me, please. You know what I mean? Going at it with each other. Don't pause me, please. Right? So it's just like, yeah. I still go back to the head and shoulders comment on Raw. Head and shoulders. Like, I'm head and shoulders above. When that happened, WWE should have got a head and shoulders contract. And they should have put head and shoulders on the fucking in the ring. And I wouldn't have been mad at it. Because that's dope. That would have been cool as shit. And the nigga, he got hair. What we doing? Troy Polamalu, he had one. I think that was head and shoulders. No? I don't know. Y'all tell me. However, Roman is a slick bull. They did what they did in this match tonight, man. I really appreciated Seth's gear. You know what I mean? It reminded me of some Buzz Lightyear type time. You dig what I'm saying? Reminded me of some Buzz Lightyear type time. But I think that I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it a lot. I think where we go with this title next is very interesting. I think Oba might be the play, but I don't know. Let's see. My boy Kai asking, what's your favorite wrestling match at SummerSlam yesterday and today? Yesterday, definitely Kyle, and I'll give you my all-time too. And everybody, we could have that convo if y'all would like. Drop y'all Drop y'all suggestions and y'all answers in the chat. Favorite match from yesterday and today, all-time favorite SummerSlam matches. Oh my man, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, you already know, man. Yeah. Well deserved, my brother. Y'all doing y'all thing. I gotta get me a SummerSlam snapback too, Jules. I gotta get on that. And thanks for bearing with me, y'all. As y'all can see, I'm nail lock free, man. Y'all see it, man. Hairline's still intact. You dig what I'm saying? Hairline's still good. There's a few grays. You already know what's going on, man. But life, man. It was about that time, and I'm like, I don't want to do another summer with the locks, man. Be at the ballpark, be at work. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's cool, man. I appreciate y'all, bro. But this is a much easier lifestyle. You know what I mean? I could wear the do-rag again regular. I can, yeah. You know what I mean? Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Nick and Gunther yesterday I think that's yes, definitely the best men's match yesterday. Gable and Penta today, yeah. I'm gonna go with the main event just because of my second wind, my second adolescence. You know what I mean? Starting to get back into the WWE, exiting high school, learning about some folks. I'm saying that that one is to me probably the best wrestler in the world, and the other one is the biggest star in sports entertainment, the biggest star that sports entertainment has produced in the last decade. Yeah, it's no doubt. Yeah, all time. That's there. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it. 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 But I got to HBK Hogan. You give me Ray Eddie. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? My human young bull on a pole match when he was a young bull. Yeah, J Rod. Yeah. That's probably all time for me and you both. Yeah, 02. Yeah, let's do that. I even go Triple H and Rock 98 in the city. You know what I mean? Up top. You dig what I'm saying? Shout out my boy Drake Day. You know what I mean? I'm trying, brother. 34 last week, man. 34 years of age last week. So appreciate you, bro. Punk Hardy 09. Yeah, me too. And I'm all about that 09 life. Because I was at Night of Champions 09, J-Rod, as you know. When it was here in Philly, that was on my birthday, July 26, 2009. It was a great summer. It's a great summer. You know what I mean? The Phillies was defending World Series champions that summer. You dig what I'm saying? So, we was outside, man. We was outside. You dig what I'm saying? The boss is speaking. Let's see what's going on.
A lot of dangerous people. Lash Legend, just a powerhouse. You've got.
Appreciate you, Jamar, my brother. Appreciate you, bro.
Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. There's a lot of heavy hitters in there.
We talking about the division, of course.
For her to be in the position.
Cheers, everybody.
At the end of that,
like, share, and subscribe. Locker Room Lead Live. We're going to change all that part-time. Shh.
That is a career fighting.
Hold with me. Walk with me.
Sami Zayn had one a month or so ago. Chelsea Green having a night that forever people will say Chelsea Green, WWE Women's Champion. It doesn't get bigger than that. To do it at SummerSlam, here in a stadium like this, just epic.
And I want to shout out too, and I think when my boy J Rod on the stream earlier mentioned that the Vault, WWE Vault on YouTube did a like retrospective, like cool little tribute on Jamar. Sorry, we forgot about that one. Yes, has to be said every time, especially after Mania. Has to be said. Kyle says Mr. Perfect versus. Let's run some of the classes. We can do the year I was born, 92, baby, at Wembley. You know what I mean? Davey Boy and Brett, you know what I mean? Yeah, we did. I think we got a nice little top 10. We didn't just shout it out, y'all. Good work, everybody. Good work. Where I am right now is this women's division. I think that we can do good business in it. But I just think we got to see certain people, right? I hope everything good with my sis Rhea. You know what I mean? Shout out to Naomi getting better. It's a lot of voids to fill, right? A lot of voids with the Biancas of the world, right? And the Naomis of the world being missing after they had such great shit that they was doing. You know what I mean? Naomi subsequently had the best work of her life. You know what I mean? And it's not unfortunate because new life is here, right? And it's like, we love that. But we want them to take care of their families and things like that. But as fans, it's like, yeah, we kind of feel that void, man. And that's life, man. That's life. Right. SummerSlam the feeling of it. And I wanted to ask my man Jules about this when I get a chance, like how it felt to be in the building. And granted, he talked about it on the Almanac show, but you know, taking his child, right, where we started on this program. And if you don't mind me, Julio, we started on this program talking about, like, you know, certain demographics being interested in the art form, and then they move on and they have kids and da-da-da-da-da. And when I'm hearing somebody like my brother Julio talk about the product and things like that, it's still a passion for it, right? It's still he doesn't hate it. It's not a thing. And I saw my brother yesterday wearing the SummerSlam snapback. Yeah, I mean, that means something. I know earlier I was talking about like the Disneyfication of the WWE. That's not a negative connotation. I think that you become Disney over time based on your success with multiple generations of people who can identify your properties, identify your characters, right? See somebody in the Mickey Mouse suit, you know what that is. You see somebody cosplaying as Macho Man Randy Savage, you know what that is, right? But when people are experiencing it with their loved ones, it gives them a different type of thing, no matter how engaging certain sports entertainment or wrestling content might, you know, appease the, you know, the adamant wrestling watcher of all of the spots and all of the things, right? And how a story is supposed to go and how I would have booked it and things like that. That's why they made universe mode, y'all. We couldn't do universe mode in 98. We could do it in 28, right? And hopefully by the time we get there, the game improves. Because that's where I am right now. I am a 2K shitter owner. I do not like the gameplay of 2K. I like playing 2K, but I'm again, juxtaposition. I'm doing it. See, I'm doing it with the games instead of the actual product. The way that wrestling video games used to feel as a player and as a user, much different today. Much different. And I feel like such an old man sometimes. But oh man, oh my God. Like what happened to Here Comes the Pain type interfaces and oh boy. I just missed that. But that's why they gave us universe mode, y'all. You know what I mean? But the Disneyfication isn't bad. It isn't the worst thing in the world because that's what keeps. If they're not interested in the current product, that's why we can go back on YouTube and watch some other shit and then order a fucking whatever, a Kurt Angle shirt or whatever the fuck and engage with the. So I don't see the company dying. I just see that different things are happening and your company is just in a different day. Now, hopefully they do become a bit more entertaining to the masses of us that have been watching this company since water was wet. But we have alternatives. We got AEW. I know everybody want their beloved WWE to be back. And not for nothing. That's why I got the belt upside down because it's a symbol. You know what I mean? I got the belt upside down because it's like it's like a wink and a nod to like disgruntled WWE fans. You know what I mean? It's just little shit. But I'm still engaged with the product. That's why I'm doing the post show tonight. And I'm using the product to particularly have some type of thing said or influence or whatever the case is with the community that I love, which is y'all. You know what I mean? So I still want to engage. And it's not to say that because people don't like a product, they're going to stop engaging with it or they don't. It's just that we just still got to have fun. And I think the fun sometimes it is here in the content creation and the fun is somewhat in the video games and things like that. But we still got to have fun if we spending our time on this. That's all. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Right. Even on the best shows, every segment not going to hit. That's just what it is. That's my boy Dre too, joining us from Twitch. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, that fucking. Y'all know the Shannon Sharp meme. That's all I could do, man. That's all I could do. Yeah, Jada and Layla, huh? Yeah. AT Blake Monroe needs to be involved in something. Heavy on that because I don't know what we're doing. Same with Jordan Grace. And what's happening there? It's just like once I remember Jordan was on SmackDown by like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, was it? I don't know if it was 3 weeks ago. Pardon me. I don't know. But the last time I seen her on SmackDown, I was like, I don't know how this is going. My boy also says, we know Lola Vice is being called up soon, and I hope they do something with her too. Yeah, Lola need a little change in something. You know what I mean? My boy Dre was talking about it, and I agree. A couple weeks ago, she need a little change in something. You know what I mean? I think once Kylie Armstrong gets to a new level where she should be, yeah, we gonna get to that Kylie Armstrong business. We're gonna get to that. We definitely gonna get to that. Yeah, I mean, shout out my boy AT. Appreciate you, my brother. Hulk Hogan, Brutus Beefcake, Randy Savage. Yeah, bro. My brother had to put me on to all of that because I didn't see that match, Kyle, until I was maybe about like 6 or 7. I'm sure that match played in the foreground or in the background while I was like running around doing something. But like all of that shit was always played in my house. Like that shit, they watched that shit when I wasn't even alive. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. I ain't see this joint until like 6 or 7. You know what I mean? 89 SummerSlam. Good stuff, man. My boy Kyle, man. My boy Kyle. That's another thing too, Dre. The TV time, especially on these PLEs, thinking about people like Carmelo, we gotta advertise, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. It's getting so real that now you can buy ad space on a weapon. If you're a company, if you're a Wingstop, if you're a Slim Jim, if you're a Fireball, if you're a Wheatley, a little different. But if you're one of them other companies, you can get ad space on the weapon or anywhere in the arena. It's not, capitalism is what we're living under, and we just have to understand how it works with particular companies. That's just, I don't have anything beyond that. Now, there is something to be said about certain companies and their greed, or certain companies and what they're selling, how much they're charging for. Everybody's complaining about this club WWE stuff. If you don't want it, don't buy it. It's just really as simple as that. But a lot of people think that fans are being taken advantage of. And so, yeah, but that's what the system does. Like, not for nothing, Dove Soap taking advantage of you. Deer Park Water is taking advantage of you. Now, these are two things that you need. You need water, you need soap. If you are a person that has those securities and those amenities in your life and you're able to, but they're taking advantage of you too, because Dove Soap is owned by Unilever, and Unilever used to own slaves. So I don't even want to really do all of that. You know what I mean? This is a certain type of program, but when I'm hearing a lot of complaints about a wrestling program, it's like, well, yeah, that chicken in your freezer. So, and I don't want to be, you know what I mean? But it's just that, again, engaging with this thing in a way in which makes sense. If I don't want to get into it, then I probably shouldn't watch it, right? So just, but I'm gonna still continue to listen to the motherfuckers I listen to. Some of them entertain me and all of that, you know what I mean? Jamar says WWE needs a dark character again. You look around and there's none. That's very important. I really appreciate you said that, because my boy said shout outs, real rap, man. Because listen, that's the catchphrase around here, man. Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to, shout out to Tony, man. Shout out to all the companies. And it is J-Rod. It is. I think they let fans buy space on the mat for their names to be put on too. Yeah. And it's prime real estate. Hard camera, right? Aerial camera, when the two competitors, or how many competitors are like doing their rest spots and shit. It's prime real estate, bro. It's prime real estate. We came a long way from Karate Fighters Presents. We came a long way from Milton Bradley Presents. Even though Slim Jim been in the mix for a minute, we just come a long way from those days where it's like you have a niche product that is being put on, right, or advertised on this niche products' program. Now you got whole Wingstop, McDonald's and Burger King wasn't doing shit with WWE. Now you got whole restaurants doing it, and now you got whole company. We're just in a different day, y'all. And yeah, I think that is something to be said about. It's definitely something to be said about wrestlers and their contracts and the 50% and all of this and all of that. Yes, I don't think that is necessarily the most feasible for the performers. But again, like, y'all got a company, and I ain't about to sit up here and tell y'all what's feasible for y'all, because I'm not in your offices, I'm not in your C-suite, and I'm not, and I know I'm doing a little bit right now. I'm juxtaposing a little bit of what I think versus what I hear. But yeah, I think, again, man, culture is culture, conversation is conversation. We just got to keep it a buck, man. I think we done basically touched most of what we need to as far as the post show is concerned. But my man was talking about it earlier. You know what I mean? Let's see what Kev was talking about for a little bit. Somewhat, yes. I think that when you are doing large scale events and you're asking for certain like ticket prices, that person is going to pick and choose whether they want to buy or whether they want to attend. I think we all had ways in which the events we've been to, whether if it was WrestleMania this or whatever, a Bad Blood in Atlanta, a one-off, or a Saturday night's main event, or December 26th at MSG, we are choosing to make that decision. If you can afford it or if you can't. It's America, bro. I don't know.
But I had such a great
Forget analyzing what we do here.
Careful not to get condensation on this table.
Forget analyzing what we do here for a moment. Forget the storylines we cover every single week, the results, what we just saw. Just man to man.
We're gonna play a little bit of the audio, but Crush, you cooking tonight, bro. Oh my God. It's not for me to say. It's nothing for me to say. Yeah, just one other one we forgot. I definitely think we put together a definitive top 10. Shout out to y'all tonight, y'all. Shout out to everybody. Hope y'all still with me, y'all. Locker Room Lead Live, night 2, post show. Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of business left. Let's listen in.
From all the crew that's traveled with you for years, been a part of it. We all know what you've been through. We all know the fight. The greatest men in life are the men who have overcome this adversity. And the adversity that you've overcome for nearly a year and a half. This was an incredible, special moment for all of us from our heart just to have you back. We are thrilled.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that a lot. And
shout out Kev, man.
Yeah, it was a rough road, honestly. It really was. But none of that matters now because now I'm here.
You are. So let's get to it. Let's get to now you're here. KO has returned. Big E.
Kev, you and I had some conversations when you were out. I thought there was a good chance we would never see this again. Was there ever a moment that you resigned and you made peace with potentially this all being over for you?
I mean, there was a moment where I thought it wasn't going to happen, and I definitely did not make peace with it because I was not ready. And you know, getting this taken away from you when you're not ready is hard. But I had such a great group around me to support me through it. You know, my wife, my kids, my parents that got me through all this, my friends, the WWE medical staff, even you. I would talk to you a lot. But I was never okay with it. But thankfully, and honestly, up to a month ago, I was like, this may be it. We kept doing scans. It kept not showing exactly what we were hoping for as far as the healing process from the surgery. And then I was like, well, I don't know, maybe it's just not going to happen. Then a few weeks ago, we did a scan. And we're like, we finally saw what we needed to see. You can get back in the ring. And then from there, here I am. Yeah.
Here you are. It sounds like the fans missed you greatly when your music hit. And that stadium erupted. Joe and I were standing in the middle of the fans on the little stage. It was one of the loudest reactions I've ever been present for. You're a very emotional guy. We all know what this business means to you, what this company means to you, what pro wrestling means to Kevin Owens. What was going through your mind when you finally stepped out of the curtain?
Funny enough, it's hard when you're in that moment to even hear the reaction because the music's playing. You're emotional, and the way the sound travels in stadiums is different than arenas. And in that moment, I could see people seem to be very happy. But I remember thinking, this is what Stone Cold meant at WrestleMania 38 when we spoke about the match we had several weeks later. When he was telling me, I couldn't hear the crowd. I didn't know if the crowd was happy to see me. Which in my head, I'm like, you're a psychopath. But now I get it, like, oh, okay, I see what he meant. But once I got in the ring, that's kind of where the noise hits you and everything. And yeah, it was incredible. And not just that, getting in the ring and seeing the faces I saw, even though we're in the same match, facing each other. Gunther, don't know the guy particularly well, but I respect him as a professional wrestler so much. Probably the best wrestler in the world. Finn Balor.
That's good. That's good. That's good juice.
Away from these cameras, he's like a
yeah.
And I don't have to mention my relationship with Sammy and the ups and downs we've been through. That the last 25 years of our careers have been linked to each other. So I don't know. I couldn't have asked for a better scenario to come back to.
So you mentioned your family, and we know how important your family.
That's the one, Kyle. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Bro. when this program first started, the very first stream I ever did, I was not in this building. I was in another building on the east side of West Philadelphia. Night one of Mania 39 did a lot for me as far as bringing the kid back out. I've been watching wrestling for some time. I had been doing a little bit of content creation for some time. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a good point, Dre. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Shout out to Roman. Yeah, AT said you could tell Kev was going all out once that neck gets surgery. You know, time is ticking. Excuse me, boys. IPA hitting all day. I'm going to make sure to enjoy his matches. Yes. AT. This is why you're a Hall of Famer, because you just my sentiments exactly. Kevin Owens gets a lot out of. Don't pause me. I'm not playing with y'all, bro. I love you. Kevin Owens does a lot for me emotionally, and it's been that way since he got called the fuck up here. It's been that way ever since he's been to the show. You dig what I'm saying? When he had, and the reason I started clapping AT is because I think about what Kev did with Cody before he dipped off. You know what I mean? And for me, not the highest point in the company. We coming off the high of probably my favorite WrestleMania ever. You know what I mean? Like we coming off of that high and be back in the Saturday night's main event era. What Kevin Owens was doing was immaculate with Cody. To me, he out of all of Cody's adversaries since he won a championship, it's that guy. Out of all of Cody's adversaries since he won, him, and he not done. He not done winning world titles. Sorry to break it to y'all, and I hope that's good news to a lot of us. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm with you, Dre. But absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all see what? Listen, bro. Kevin got it. He came up to the company at the perfect time. He came up to the show at the perfect time. And it's like, bro, my fiance loves Kevin Owens. And he not no Roman Reigns looking nigga. I mean, they got the same initials. That's the thing. But she love that nigga, bro. And so it was a point in which I had to break from the stream. I'm like, yo, your man back. And so, yeah, man, my boy back, man. The 2 sleeves is complete. I see he got the color behind the dinosaur. Yeah, Kev, man. And when Kev came back for the first time from that injury, when he had the half sleeve, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Kev, man. Kev is a wrestler's fucking wrestler. He like Styles P to me, bro. You know what I mean? That's what he is. And he a star. Huge star power, bro. Funny. Can work it. Don't pause me. I'm gonna beat y'all up. Can work it either way. Heel, face, tween. Don't pause me. It's just I fuck with the nigga, man. Like I just fuck with the nigga, bro, so much.
The way she powered through it, and it was truly inspirational. So I want to thank everyone I just mentioned because everybody helped me so much. Thank you.
Well said.
Yeah, man. I think that we got what we needed for SummerSlam. I really do, especially tonight. I wanted to do a thing tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I'm on the main stream. You dig what I'm saying? I could do it if I sign out. But I think I'm gonna save it for another time. I think we can have some time to do that maybe on Tuesday. Because after my boy Chaz get right with some Ladies Who Collective business, I think we want to talk about Raw maybe. And we could do some other business with TNA. But to just do a quick overview of the 2 days, it was a great 2 days. You dig what I'm saying? I really feel like I didn't get a chance to see too much wrestling this year. But this was, probably my wrestling high all year. Definitely saw a couple of my local indies, Power Pro, Labor of Love, Bet, down at Drexel University. You dig what I'm saying? But Yeah. Yo, Dre, I'm not playing, bro. I'm not playing with y'all, bro. Let me talk my shit, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? My wifey in the other room. So y'all know how I get down. You dig what I'm saying? Chaz, Kevin Owens a true throwback that fits in this time and can wrestle anyone and make anything better. There's nothing he can't do. And if this room becomes like a Paul George kind of run embrace, my brother, is going to be better than that. And I can tell you that firsthand. We are not going to be getting stuck at any championship parades. We're winning the championship. How about that one, PG? Fuck out of here. Shout out to PG though. You know what I mean? We're about to do some real work. But again, this is not a basketball show. We could talk that some little bit on Tuesday. We got to talk about the women first. You know what I mean? All-Star weekend just passed. We got some shit to talk about. Angel Reese. You know what I mean? Kelsey Plumtree. We got some shit, Chaz. We got some shit. So tap back in on Tuesday. But yeah, man. Morning of July 30th, hopped on the phone with Ross Berman. You know what I mean? If y'all know who that is, shout outs. Hopped on the phone with Ross Berman, was able to get that. Shout out to my boy, man. Marks with Mics. All my people who make my little connections for me. You know what I mean? But hopped on with Ross. He said everything's good. You got 8 tickets for today, for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Do y'all thing. You know what I mean? So it was dope, bro. It was just dope. TNA is fighting. They're fighting as hard as they could. My boy earlier said, another dark character. If we can get Alistair in the Impact fucking zone, I think we got one. If we can get Alistair in the Impact zone, I think we got some shit. To get in there with the Righteous, after what the Righteous just went through with the Hardys, forget about it. I even say get Hammerstone up to TNA. Get your big dumb ass up the fucking TNA, dog. What's going on? And I know he loved MLW or whatever. I think he has still at MLW. Hammer, bro. It's hammer time, nigga. What we on? I remember I saw Alex Hammerstone versus fucking Jacob Fott too. South Philadelphia Knights, bro. If we could somehow get that one of these days in the next 5 years on this shit, yeah. The world need to see that. That shit made for more than 2,300. Hammerstone and fucking Jacob Fott too. And nigga Jacob was barefoot. Yeah, we could. Yeah. So I don't know, y'all, but TNA is really fighting. They in there. They women's division, the knockout tournament, fire. Jada Stone, 2 victories, 2 nights. Beat Jody Threat and my one sis from the Elegance. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Jada Stone, man. Show love. Marishad Day in there. I think a contract, I don't know, something going on, but good showing in the tournament. It's all good. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Cedric, Leon, that's going to be a thing. Leon about to take that based on that stipulation. It's about to be out of there. I do want to just touch on the main event of night 1 of TNA's residency, small residency at the Leah Course, which was none other than Mustafa Ali and Jason Hotch for the TNA International title. Probably the best match I've seen under the roof of the Leah Course Center since I started watching wrestling there, which now has been about 3 years. 3.5 since the first AEW Dynamite. You got about 3 Dynamites in the Dynasty under that roof. And now we have 2 nights of TNA. I think that was the best match I've seen in that ring. And I've seen Kenny Omega in that building twice. You dig what I'm saying? So where I am with this is that if you haven't watched it, I'm going to try to do a thing on Twitch on Tuesday. We can watch it together if y'all want. Let's watch Mustafa Ali versus Jason Hotch. If y'all haven't watched Jason, Jason at work, he won the match. Spoiler. And Mustafa's still doing his thing. Shout out to Tasha Steele, her role that she's playing in the Order 4. Amazing. I almost made Tasha break character because when they came out on the rant, Order 4, security guards, you know how the security guards come first, the secret agent and all of them. And then, Tasha come up there and stand, Tasha on her China shit, on her 8th wonder of the world. So I turn around, I was night 1, I was right about her. I'm like, hey, Tasha, what's going on? And she looked, because she don't know me personally. I'm never a nigga that watch wrestling. So it's like, we locked in anyway, you know what I mean? But like other instances, said what's up, whatever. But like, I know she like this nigga, man. Like, she kind of like, you know what I mean? But shout out to the days that was the 30th and the 31st, man. It's all good. No, you good, Dre. You know what I mean? I just was trying to stay in character. You know what I mean? When I was explaining, I'm passionate about this shit, man. You already know, man. Oh, my God, bro. Everybody was on his top when he left the building. You dig what I'm saying? Everybody, right? Yeah, so some shit going on, man. G1 going on right now, Jamar. You know what I mean? My boy Suji and Ice had a classic. You dig what I'm saying? Summertime is always prime for that G1. Ring of Honor back in the city on the 21st. I'm going to try to be in there. SmackDown here on Friday. I'm in the building. Smack Dizzy. You already know I can't miss nothing, bro. That Friday night in South Philly just different. Whether if it's a Sixer game, Phillies game. You can't get Eagles games on Friday nights in the wintertime. So that's that. Flyers, boxing, or wrestling down South Philly. I need it. Put it in my jugular. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, Mustafa been, oh my God, the ace. Motherfucking ace of TNA, man. I'm loving what Mustafa is doing, bro. Mustafa deserves all the praise. Mustafa is the shit, bro. That Order 4 shit is fire. It is fire. Shout out my boy Brian Myers, you know what I mean? Formerly known as Kurt Hawkins in the WWE, doing his thing with the system. You dig what I'm saying? Bear Bronson, Cedric Alexander, Eddie Edwards. Yeah. TNA doing some shit, man. TNA doing some shiznit, but we gotta build on top of a few things, you know what I mean? We just gotta build on top of a few things. So I really feel like we there, but not yet. Like my boy Julio said, not yet on his EP. The match with Elias and that, yeah. And that was prime real estate for that match too. That was in your crib, J Rod. So I already know you was digging that shit, bro. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. 2 nights of SummerSlam. This company with this backing is also figuring things out. It's TKO, you know what I mean? There's a lot going on. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money on the table. It's a lot of money that they're trying to save. I think that we should still participate. Let's keep watching. You dig what I'm saying? I also think that tomorrow night, right? This makes things interesting for tomorrow night. Who do we see tomorrow? Friday, I heard we getting Charlotte and Jade Cargill, which I wanted for a while. And it's not going to be the last time we see it, but to test this under the hot South Philly lights, and the last time that Big Yarla was in the building, she came through and beat the shit out of Tiffy. That's when I first walked in there. And the reaction I was seeing from my people in my city, I'm like, yeah, Charlotte still got it. And, you know, the last time Jade was in that building, she beat some ass. So we gonna have to see, y'all. You know what I mean? We gonna have to see. That's a good question. That's a real good question, man. Now that Roman and, you know what I mean, took care of that, I don't know if Seth interrupts Punk tomorrow. I don't know, man. But I'm curious. Again, the best wrestler in the world. The best wrestler in the world that made it to the WWE. You know what I mean? I heard what just got said about Gunther, but I think that Seth is, you know, again, excuse me. Gunther went through that progress thing. Amazing. What we think? Progress or Ring of Honor when Tyler Black was there? I don't know what we think, y'all. Walter, Progress, Tyler Black, Ring of Honor. And who's the best wrestler in the world now based on where they are? We could talk about that, J-Rod. What makes me mad about TNA, they got talent. Yeah, they just need the creative. They need a bit more. You know, they just need a few more things, right? They need a few more stalwarts. You know what I mean? I feel like what's going on at Evolve. I don't know what conversations Evolve is having with TNA, if that's a thing. But yeah, we got some work to do, man. Shout out AJ Francis, man. Did his work. Always do his work when he come through to the city. Always when he goes anywhere. I think that the match that he had with Hometown Man. Well, Hometown Man, bro, it was good. It was a good joint. He spit on the Eagles jersey, bro. He spit on the Saquon jersey, so that was a thing. But Hometown Man got with him, you know what I mean? New Day. We back. Yes, sir. machine guns. You know what I mean? We touched on that earlier with my brother, man. It's some good shit going on, y'all. Let's just keep enjoying life, man, and keep enjoying wrestling and enjoying ourselves, man. And enjoying ourselves, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for joining tonight. Before we get out of here, man, I'm gonna play this intro one more time because I'm so proud of it. But we're gonna be doing some things, man. But I just wanted to get with y'all before the summer is over. You know what I mean? So we can start getting back on the calendar, start getting some more viewership. And bro, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for life. Another year celebrated last week. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for community. I'm grateful for the art and all of the goodwill that my friends put out in their art. Julio, Action, Scotland with the poetry, Chaz with the vids. You dig what I'm saying? Nolo, his passion for the sport of football and just his brotherhood. You know what I mean? And just how he views pro wrestling and how he's very whimsical and just carefree in his approach. D-Mac, his humor, his unpredictability. You dig what I'm saying? Like his bravery. You know what I mean? Like all of these people are a big part of my life. Chiefs, you know what I mean? His insight, his interests. You know what I mean? I know he's a huge Cincinnati Reds fan, you know what I mean? And, you know, they won the World Series in the 90s. That's the year I was born. So, you know, that's, you know, little small connections, man. Very small connections. You know, we fuck with Johnny Bench over here. We fuck with Larkin. So, you know, we also fuck with King Griffey Jr. You know what I mean? Nothing. So, but just to put out why I fuck with this community and y'all so much, man, and everybody who supports us. We gonna keep building upon y'all, man. No community, no matter how big or small, as a community, we just hope that the love is there. You know what I mean? So AT, appreciate you, my brother, my great and grand Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Kyle, I started watching wrestling in '96, my brother. So this makes 20 years. No, 30. I turned 34 this year. So listen, y'all. We done did it, man. Double feature. I mean, I had to, you know, take, you know what I mean? We about to wrap it up. Thank y'all so much, man. Thank to everybody. Thank you to everybody that stops and shows love at these shows. Jada Stone last week. Everybody. Shout out Ricky Sosa. Shout out Ross Berman. You know what I mean? Shout out everybody, man. Shout out everybody. Shout out the Real Malik Joe. You know what I mean? On Instagram. Shout out everybody, man. J-Rod, appreciate you, bro. I hate signing off. I know I'm particularly okay or good at it. But okay, Crush, that's what's up, bro. Yeah, me and you both, man. Started at 3, man. Going on 4. You know what I mean? So, y'all, we're going to be in the Discord tomorrow. Monday Night Raw. The grandest tradition of our wrestling lives. Every Monday at 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Or Monday Night Nitro. Also for my, you know what I mean? I don't discriminate, you know. But listen, y'all. This is my love. This is my life. And y'all have a lot to do with that. We're going to get up out of here, y'all. SummerSlam Night 2, Bgwpod. That's for life. Locker Room Lead, live now and forever. Live now and forever. See what else is going on. One second. And I mean, you already know, Jamar. We in the court, my brother. You too, Crush. Love you, my boy. Appreciate all the insight tonight, y'all. Appreciate the chiming in. Appreciate the conversation. You know what I mean? That's going to be a wrap for your boy tonight and a wrap for Bgwpod as a whole. Good fight. Good night. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. You dig what I'm saying? Let's start the week off very positively. Let's show love. Let's share love. Let's be entertained. Let's enjoy ourselves. I love y'all so much, man. One, you already know.
You can never, ever fuck with this, nigga. Fuck out of here. Look. Hey, yo, my name ring cause I clapped the deputy and headshot the sheriff. That's the plot, my mind is locked on a pot of treasure. I need the guap before I ever chase a thought for pleasure. Big knots in my pocket, brolic like Brock Lesnar. You niggas rapping a group cool, you get popped together. Gunpowder on my sweater when I shop Berettas. Drugs under my nails, dirty scale that I use to measure. Materials that melt they mind and they ask for extra. Leave with some coke and a smile and an E for effort. A bundle of joy, yo boy, these the perks of flexing. And finessing like pyramid schemes. Streets real slimy, get left red if you green. Sent to the afterlife at the traffic traffic light, all you heard was the blast and a flash of white. When he clapped the pipe, brain splash all over the dash, fast and that's your life. Fuck all that, y'all still ain't rapping right. Y'all fools know my grooves been smooth like yak with ice. It ain't no rules, they can't find you, they whack your wife. Gambling, if that's your vice, bring your gat the dice. Hold with your life. It ain't always lucrative and far-fetched to find out a smart nigga died over stupid shit. Push us off of sport, was taught to respect ruthlessness. Flip a dollar in the way more. New York tutelage, my life like a motion picture minus the movie script. Your bitch quote my scripture and masturbate. I'm too legit. Give a fuck who you is. That nigga's washed. Wrong street. You can never, ever.
Yo, on my open road, here goes a story that was never told. Whenever I saw rainbows, I never found pots of gold. Now watch how the story unfolds, light into a blunt freshly rolled. Wonder why the East Coast is so cold on my open road. They say the game is to be sold and never told. Play every hand dealt and never fold. What favors the bold? The same game that let Sean Price die broke. Might put the industry in a bare naked choke. Some of these gangsters only gangsters cause they ain't make varsity. Oh yeah, I gave y'all quality and quantity. Showcase the grind accordingly. Kept my foot on niggas' necks and showed no mercy. I don't appear because of a label's courtesy. I'm getting up with Runt, I'm trying to go all city. Chevy Chase crashed my birthday dinner and gave me a toast. Next year I might gather all my niggas and have a roast. No longer competing with you loon niggas, I'm competing with ghosts. I'm coming for it all, I alone extended the goalpost. Wrestling school opened up a new universe. Fuck it, I put Astra up against and the we the next niggas to emerge. We came to help with the purge. A lot of you niggas don't deserve to be heard. Dreams deferred. I didn't grow up with role models, just niggas I didn't want to be like. I wanted the ball like Mike. Now they fondle my balls while I say my words in the mic. Wrote my way out, hating niggas believe in the hype. Crossing the goal, doing my dance, gave the ball the spike. The mask made me polarized and I don't see my competition like blind fury. I do my next album from the perspective of Tajiri. Fuck music theory. Y'all niggas all ass like Tahiri. I don't want none of you niggas near me. Come on. Fuck out of here.